Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Fallout, where today we are starting our grand adventure into the nightmare of the post-apocalyptic wasteland as Marty. So, because there's a large amount of content to get through here, and we're doing it in kind of an unusual way, in the interest of preserving some kind of idea of game flow, what we'll probably do for most episodes is just play all the way through an area or sequence with one character, and then we'll show in a very edited down format how things were different through that area with the other characters. So, like I said, today we're starting as Marty. Let's just get right into it.
Ah, you're here. Good. We've got a problem. A big one. The controller chip for our water purification system has given up the ghost. Can't make another one. The process is too complicated for a workaround system. Simply put, we're running out of drinking water. No water, no vault. This is crucial to our survival. And frankly, I think you're the only hope we have. You need to go find us another controller chip. We estimate we have 4 to 5 months before the vault runs out of water. We need that chip. We marked your map with the location of another vault. Not a bad place to start, I think. Look, just be safe. Okay?
Okay, no pressure, no big deal. So let's talk a little bit about the UI and how we're going to interact with the world here before we get moving, because it is a little strange. Our cursor is this red hexagon you can see here. The whole world is a hex grid, so what we're doing is highlighting spaces here. If we click on one, we run to it. It's pretty straightforward. If we want to use any verbs other than run, we have to right-click and get the interaction cursor. This is how we would say, look at the Vault 13 outer door, or bang desperately on the control panel while begging to be let back inside. The computer does not recognize your access code. They took our code out of the system. I think they maybe don't want us to come back inside just yet. That's fine. Marty is a brave, plucky dude, so he's just gonna spend a minute or 3 here bravely crying in terror at the prospect of what is to come, and then he is going to bravely gather himself up and bravely head out into the wilderness. Well, out into this cave, but then presumably after that, into the wilderness. So let's take stock of our surroundings here before we get moving. It's a cave, so there's a lot of rocks and stuff. We can examine the rocks. It's a large pile of rocks. They look indigenous to this region. See, I told you Marty was smart. We also have this, some bones. Cool. If we hold left click, you can see we get a list here of all of the verbs we have to interact with this object. So that hand in the weird sort of like alien claw position is supposed to be use or interact with. The binoculars are look at. The backpack is use item from inventory on. And the handsome Pip-Boy face is use skill on. I think that this pile of bones is probably slightly beyond our meager first aid skill, so maybe let's just try to gather some more information. You see Ed. Ed's dead. Okay, the console down in the corner, not always going to be super helpful. Well, if Ed's dead, I'm sure he won't mind me borrowing a couple of his things. And speaking of things, we probably ought to look at our inventory here. What did they give us to go out into the post-apocalyptic wasteland? Well, they gave us a knife, a sharp-bladed cutting and stabbing weapon. Okay, that's a fair description of a knife. They They gave us a gun. It was awfully nice of them. There's a lot of words over there on the right, but, I mean, it's a gun. You know what it does. They give us some 10mm JHP, jacketed hollow point ammunition. For stim packs, when injected, these provide immediate healing of minor wounds. So, sorcery. They give us 4 charges of sorcery. It's nice to have. We'll definitely need them. They gave us some flares, you know, in case we need to flag down highway patrol. There are darkness modifiers in the game's combat systems, like if you're shooting at somebody who's far away from you and they're in the dark, they're hard to hit. In a situation like that, you might, in theory, light a flare and then throw it at them so they're illuminated and you have a better hit chance. In practice, I find that it's rarely worth the effort. A lot of the time you can solve your problem by just getting closer to them. And then we have Ed's bullets here. Ed had some 10mm armor-piercing rounds. So these are both 10mm bullets. They fit in our 10mm pistol. You might intuit that the armor-piercing rounds will be better against armored enemies, while the JHP rounds will be better against unarmored soft targets. And that's probably the way they were intended to work. But due to some weirdness in the combat system, actually the JHP are just always going to do more damage against everything. We'll talk about it in a little bit more detail when we talk about the combat math. But for now, just remember, blue bullets good, red bullets, well, they're not bad, they're still bullets, but less good, anyway. So let's go ahead and take our gun and put it in one of our active item slots here. We don't have any armor yet. You can see over here, so sort of like all of our important combat stats, the damage that our weapon will deal, our armor class or hit points. These are damage resistance levels. Don't stress too much about these. Yeah, for now, a gun. It's a good idea to keep a weapon in one of your hands and the other hand empty, because in general, people don't like it if you approach them with a gun out. Nobody likes to meet you barrel first, right? So when you're in a place where you might want to be friendly, empty hand, to show that you are a peaceful person, or to trick the enemies into thinking you are a peaceful person up until the moment you shoot them. And with that, I suppose we ought to get going. We can scroll around and see here the cave system is fairly large, but a lot of it is just empty rooms full of rocks and like large shin-height rats, which we probably don't want to spend a ton of time around. There's some bones over here. A large pile of bleached animal bones. At least you think all the bones are animal. Yeah, hard to say. What do you say we don't go over there and find out in any more detail? Let's just head out. So as we get closer here, yeah, one of these rats is going to initiate combat with us. So these little lights at the top of our, like, personal electronic thing here are action points. We have 9 out of a possible 10 action points. When we use all of our action points, our turn in combat ends. Moving around costs action points. You can see this would cost 4. Moving to here would cost 3. It's just 1 action point per hex that you move. Throwing a punch at this rat would cost 3 action points. And shooting the rat in the face with our gun would only cost 5. It really seems like a bargain, right? Now, unfortunately, we don't have 10 action points, so we can't fire the gun twice in one round. So if we're only going to fire one shot, let's make it count. We can right-click to switch our gun over to aimed shot mode. Costs an extra action point, but it gives us the ability to do this. We can specify a target on the enemy's body, and potentially, if we hit them somewhere sensitive, get some bonus effect from our attack. Like, as you might imagine, shooting someone in the eyes. They really feel that. That has a big effect. We only have a 56% chance to hit his eyes. That doesn't seem like the smartest move. We're pretty likely to hit the head, and the head is a really bad place to get shot. This is a tough rat, though. Okay, well, we have 3 action points left. Why don't we try one of those punches? One of those punches I've heard so much about. Marty, that's not a punch. Okay. Listen, Marty's not a martial arts expert. You tell him to punch somebody, he's just going to kind of flail all of his limbs in their general direction. So you'll notice it's our turn again. The rat initiated combat. Whatever creature initiates combat gets to go first in the first round. Now the first round is over. We started the second round, and in the second round, and all future rounds, we take turns in order of sequence. If you remember, Marty's sequence is reasonably high, certainly higher than this rat's, so we get to go first in the second round, and we're just going to try this thing again. So, you notice when we shoot him in the head, we're still doing pretty poor damage. Shooting enemies in their vulnerable locations doesn't just give you bonus damage the way it does in a lot of games when you shoot someone in the head. What it does is give you a higher chance to deal a critical hit. The more sensitive the area, the more chance you gain to crit. So like if you shoot somebody in the eyes, it's very likely to be a critical hit. In addition, critical hits have extra effects when they hit certain parts of the body. We'll talk about all that stuff. Like I said, we're going to talk about combat in detail in a little while, a couple of videos maybe. For now, just know, shooting people in their sensitive parts is very good if you have a reasonable crit chance. So we're going to switch the gun over into reload mode, spend a little bit of AP to reload, and then end combat because there are no enemies that are aware of us. Generally, good practice. Reload your guns. And we got 25 whole XP. How much is 25? Well, it turns out, if we look at our character sheet here, it takes 1,000 to level up. So, standing around this cave fighting rats, not actually a terribly good use of our time. Let's just get out of here. Fortunately, we can see far enough away to know where the way out is. So, it's just a matter of getting over there without being chewed to pieces by 100 unusually large rats. Rodents of unusual size, you might say. Okay, let's try this again, but this time with more success. Nope, that's less. That's actually even less success. Okay, maybe we just, like, soften him up. There you go. See, Marty figured out punching. I told you he was a prodigy. Okay, we're not getting a lot of critical hits. You're just going to have to trust me on this increased crit chance thing. You might notice we can actually get pretty close to the rats when we're behind them. It might sort of look like there's rats in the wall. It's just sort of a quirk of the camera. Things that are close to southern walls sometimes disappear behind the wall. When we're in combat, and we can start combat at any time by clicking on our weapon, all of the enemies in the area are outlined, so we can see if there are any enemies who are hiding from the camera like that. It's not going to be a major concern. It's just something we're going to have to remember to be aware of. Okay, 4 hit points. Marty's really making me look like a fool out here. And he also punched that rat. A bullet plus a punch from a full-grown human male. Not enough to dispatch this rat. And now, we are tragically outnumbered. Alright, I'll tell you what we're going to do. This guy's already pretty wounded. Let's try throwing a punch. My hope there was we would land the punch and then we would crit this guy with our gun and everything would be fine. Since we didn't get the punch off, let's just go ahead and try to finish the job here. I thought I had clicked on the other rat. Okay, well... Oh, I had. Cave rat was hit instead of cave rat. So we missed this dude. But when you miss shooting at an enemy, you sometimes will hit another enemy that's close to them. I would have assumed that they had to be in the same direction. Apparently not. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Game's making me look like a fool. Listen, I swear, I've played a lot of this game, but that is the first time I've ever seen a missed shot hit somebody who was standing in a whole different direction. Alright, so if we get close enough to the rats without alerting them, it probably is in our best interest to initiate combat. But they notice us at exactly far enough away that it costs all of their action points to move over to us. So I think we should keep letting them do that, if possible. It's a really easy way to win a fight. They just walk over, and then because we're fast, we get 2 turns in a row. And hey, we're getting the job done now. Okay, that one's not close enough to see us. It is very dark in this cave, in their defense. And rats don't have great eyesight at the best of times. Oops, I forgot to put us in aim shot mode, and I fired an embarrassing unaimed bullet there. Okay, that's fine. Marty has worked out how to punch people. Okay, I do believe that was the last enemy between us and the video game. Let's get out there into the horror that is the open world. The west, you can see natural light. For the first time in your life, you are looking at the outside world. And no combination of words has ever chilled my spine quite as much. And look, even more bones. You think these might be horned kangaroo bones, but they're too weathered to make a final determination. Yeah, okay, that seems like a reasonable guess. So what we're seeing right here is the exit grid. If you step on a brown exit grid, it takes you off of the area map that you're on and onto the world map, which is almost completely dark, symbolizing our ignorance. Fortunately, thanks to that opening cinematic, we do know there's another vault over here, so we're just going to go and beg them for a spare water chip, or if they only have one, we're going to bamboozle them and make off with it before they know what happened. You know, either way works, really. You can see, traveling across the desert is not super safe. Sometimes you just run into, yeah, whatever the hell these are. Wow, that little thing hit us pretty hard. We only have 30 HP. What are you? You're a mantis. You see nothing out of the ordinary. I don't know if I agree with that. So when we have a random encounter like this, we can, of course, just kill all the enemies. We can also run away, and I think that might be a good idea, given their numbers and how hard they hit with their tiny little praying mantis arms. I don't even know what to call that. Unfortunately, the exit grid is pretty far away, but it will be ringing the entire area. So it's pretty close if we want to try to just run by this guy. It's not too far to the south, either. So presumably, they just killed this gentleman. I think that, for the sake of humans everywhere in the wasteland, we owe it to ourselves to repatriate this man's belongings back into society, right? So let's just, casually walk over here and spend some of our action points looting. Oh no, we don't have enough action points to steal his stuff. Well, let's just, I guess, end our turn. Hopefully we can loot him and then run before they catch us, because I do really want his stuff. I have strong feelings about stealing all of his things. Now the bad news is that looting him is going to cost AP. So you can see we're down to only 6 AP remaining. We get to take a pistol, some more bullets, a spear. That's an iguana on a stick. It sure is. And 40 bottle caps. I'm just going to spoil it for you now. Probably most of you already know this. Bottle caps are just currency in the wasteland. It'll be explained to us shortly. In case you are wondering why that guy has a bag full of bottle caps, it's not just that he's a collector. And then we run directly away from the enemies. I'm a little concerned that that guy is kind of close to us and might be able to catch us. Because I feel like the one that hit us at first moved quite a distance before it attacked. Does he have the AP? No, he does not. He can catch up, but he can't hit us. Alright, well, that being the case, I think we're probably home free. Because we are very fast. Hopefully, it is already obvious to you what I was saying in that character creation video about how action points are really important. Unfortunately, there is, as far as I'm aware, no way to speed up enemy animations, so we're just going to have to wait for them to desperately try to catch us every turn. I suppose we could, at this point, since we have a little bit of a lead on them, pull out the pistol and try plinking at them as they approach. Maybe we kill a couple and get some XP. But I don't know. The potential for that to go wrong, I think maybe we're best off just fleeing. And we've almost made it. So we're a little bit injured. We have 23 of our remaining 30 HP left. But fortunately, the human body does heal over time, and actually pretty rapidly. We're not going to have to use any of our stim packs or anything on this. We can just travel, and traveling takes long enough that our natural healing will take care of the situation. Turns out the best way to recover from an injury is just to wander in a random direction in the desert for like a week. You can see how quickly time is passing, and hey, we're passing some civilization here. Maybe we'll stop and say hi on the way back, but, you know, a lot of people's lives are depending on us right now. It's kind of a high priority task. Alright, Vault 15. We have a rough schematic. Yeah, you know what, we'll just get in here and ask somebody where the water chip computer is. No big deal. A small shack is all that remains of this area. Fortunately, your records indicate a secondary entrance to Vault 15 there. And they're not kidding. This is all of this area. This is a very small map. This old shack is barely standing and seems to have been looted long ago. But fortunately, there is in fact a hatch down into the earth, leading to a very familiar-looking cave full of very familiar-looking rats, and also a thing that's only kind of familiar. I mean, whatever happened here, it must have happened pretty hard. I think those are scorch marks, and a chunk of the door is missing. The mechanism to open and close the heavy vault door has been damaged beyond repair. Yeah, I'd say that's a fair description of what we're seeing here. So that's definitely ominous. We'll just have to keep our head on a swivel, you know, and also stop missing the rats. It's just, Marty, you're just an overall embarrassment. Okay, there you go. That's a good start. Now we're going to successfully shoot the rat. You know, at this point, with him having 3 HP missing, it might be better to just shoot him normally. Don't even bother going for the headshot, because a body shot's going to be good enough. And then we get a crit anyway. Okay, that works. Reload. Reload? I'm not reloading. Oh, I only had one action point left. I swear to you I can count to 2. I know that there's no evidence for that assertion at this moment, but you're just going to have to believe me. Okay, well, a lot of the rats seem, you know, preoccupied with their own rat stuff, so I guess we can just ignore them. And yeah, it looks like this vault has seen better days. That vault computer's not looking so hot. This computer is broken. Yes, I agree. This vent has been damaged beyond repair. These monitors are broken and cannot function, and holy crap, that is a whole lot of rat. We could try talking to it, I suppose. Doesn't seem the most likely to be successful. We're just going to creep forward a little bit here. Nope, never mind, rat sauce. I was going to try to get to a point where we could shoot him through the doorway, because it's kind of in the way at the moment. Well, the good news is he just spent his turn for the first round, so now we're going to get to go twice in a row. The other good news is he ran right up to us and gave us a really beautiful shot. So, we can go for the head and just try to, like, you know, collapse his skull. We could shoot him in the eyes and do the thing that would do. But, we're not guaranteed to hit those areas exactly, and who knows if we do enough damage to kill it. One has to assume it has more HP than the normal rats, right? So this might be a good time to examine our other options. If we are able to do some critical hits to its legs, for example, we can slow down its rate of movement and then maybe kite it more effectively back down the hallway. If we were to shoot and injure its forelimbs, we could reduce the effectiveness of its attacks and stuff. I think working the legs makes a lot of sense here. We have a 95% chance to hit them. That was non-critical. I think we should maybe just back up 3 steps with the rest of our AP, and then for our turn in the second round, try that again. Boy, you really lose accuracy quickly in the dark. Okay, keep running. He's gonna just catch right up. If we can get some real damage on his legs. Oof, having a tough time. That rat is right there, and it's definitely ready to bite me. I'm starting to get a little worried, if I'm honest. Maybe we should go for his forelimbs instead. Just try to make his attack ineffective. No, let's keep the plan. Let's keep up with the plan. Man. No crits, huh? Well, that's a little unfortunate. I think we want to keep moving. We know that he has enough action points to catch up with us and hit us, even if we do move. But it's possible that if we didn't make him spend any AP on chasing us, he might be able to attack twice, which would be pretty dangerous. At this point, we've done so much damage to him, maybe it's better we just go for the head and try to finish it. That's a really bad outcome, actually. Run? Okay. We're gonna have to change things up a little bit here. We're getting to a dangerous level. So, it costs 4 action points to access your inventory. While we're in our inventory, we can do a variety of useful tasks, such as dragging bullets into our gun to reload it, and using things from our inventory, like stim packs. Go ahead and gain 10 HP. That was pretty nice. And then we don't have enough action points left for an aimed shot, but we can just shoot him in his big rat body. Okay, and that was enough. Apparently we finally got our crit. I suppose we ought to check him. Hey, big surprise. He didn't have any stuff. Alright, let's move on here. Oh hey, wall locker. We should probably check that out. Something tells me the people who are in this vault aren't going to have use for these flares. Well, I'm probably not going to have much use for them either. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a disappointing haul. Whatever. We can sell them. It's fine. So, if we just have a little bit of a look around here, we can see that the elevator shaft has also seen better days. Not easily descended without a rope. Well, if only we knew where there was some civilization nearby, where one might acquire some basics, such as a rope. But before we head out and get our rope, do see another wall locker. Let's go ahead and help ourselves. Hopefully, all the good people of the vault, they're just down below. That's why they destroyed the elevator shaft from below, so that nobody could get to them and steal their precious, precious water computer. Marty, you're making a fool of yourself in front of all these nice people. How do you feel about that? I'm gonna get killed by rats. What an ignominious end. So remember, Marty's crit chance is pretty good for a starting character, but as far as numbers go, it's not like an objectively high number. Our base crit chance is 19. Of all of the numbers that exist, 19 is one of the lower ones. Just try to get in here and get whatever this is and get out. Well, hey, what do you know? It's a bunch of medical supplies. I'm just very pleased to see them. I was maybe a little bit overzealous with the stim pack. We totally could have gotten through without using it. But I'm not going to be save scumming or anything here. Like, let's just play cautiously. Trust me, the game is going to give us enough resources. We'll be okay. Also, I said I'm not going to be save scumming, but that's absolutely not true. There are a couple of things for which I may need to save scum, just to make sure that we see all of the interesting things that could happen. Okay, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. Critical hit to the head for 24 damage. That's the kind of stuff you can get out of a good crit. The more sensitive areas of an enemy can take massive bonus damage on a crit, in addition to other effects like having their leg hobbled or things like that. Okay, well, let's go find ourselves a rope, shall we? Fortunately, we have a pretty good idea where to look. So traveling through the desert is always a little bit dangerous, and it may not be totally obvious, but there are actually different terrain features on the map. Like, we move a lot faster across these flat plains than we would if I took us over this raised up area. So we do have to be a little bit careful in planning our route. You don't want to spend any more time out in the open than you absolutely have to, especially considering that, the people of your vault are slowly dying. If we check our Pip-Boy, see, this note does update, we are actually on the clock here. So this fellow has said, "Hello, welcome to Shady Sands. You see Seth, leader of the guards of Shady Sands," which is information that we have because we are psychic. That verb there with the bottom half of somebody's face cut off at a strange angle is supposed to be talk. It's not exactly comforting to look at, but sure, let's have a chat with Seth, leader of the guards. Good day, I'm called Seth. Yeah, I know. How can I help you? I'd like some information. Information? What do you want to know about? I want to know about this place, since that's the only thing I'm allowed to ask about. Shady Sands is a peaceful community. We have our own irrigation system so we can grow our own food. If we were not plagued with raiders and rad scorpions, we'd have no problems. Ugh, scorpions. Sure, tell me about the rad scorpions. I mean, maybe they're super cool, they're scorpions, but they're, totally rad. Well, those damn rad scorpions have been after our Brahmins since we moved here. Not a week goes by that someone doesn't get poisoned trying to keep them out of the pens. Last week they took my brother Jarvis. Raslo, our doctor, is looking for an antidote as quickly as he can. Hey, if you have the means to help us, why don't you talk to our leader Aradesh? Yeah, listen, I'm a smart guy. I don't really know a lot about scorpions. We have immediately the option to ask him to take us to the Rad Scorpion Caves. Nah, that's okay. We're kind of focused on a thing here. I guess we could stand to know about the raiders as well. There are several groups of raiders. I organize guards like Ian to help fight them off. There's one band to the southeast of here. Watch out for them. So this guy is, super first video game NPC. The characters in Shady Sands are a little on the thin side, but don't worry, we'll get into some more interesting stuff later. Okay, thanks, buddy. Actually, before we finish talking to him, we should take note of this barter button here. Whenever you're talking to somebody, provided that they don't absolutely hate you, you can ask to barter with them for anything that's in their inventory. And it just so happens, young Seth here has a great big rope. Hey, I would love this rope, if you wouldn't mind handing me that rope. Perhaps you'd like this extra knife that I definitely don't need. Okay, and a little bit, just a couple of caps to even up the deal. Alright, well, we got what we need. You should speak to Aradesh, our leader. He likes to meet all of our visitors. He should be in our town hall, the building to the south. Yeah, maybe if he wants to meet all the visitors, he should come up here where the visitors are. Dude sounds real lazy for a leader. His dog is kind of eyeing us in a way that makes me a little nervous, but I think we're going to be okay. Alright, I suppose we could go and say hi to Aradesh before we leave. First, we should talk to Katrina with the very pretty smile. Welcome to Shady Sands, traveler. My name is Katrina. My job is to greet strangers and help them understand our village. We find there are fewer problems if you listen to what I have to say, which sounds vaguely threatening. Okay, I'm looking for a water chip. You seen one? Well, as a matter of fact, yes. My old home, Vault 15, had one. I haven't been there since I was hurt, but you might find what you're looking for there. Someone said they tried to go to the vault to have a look around, but it was dark and the elevator was broken. I hope you're better prepared. Well, I am now. So here's the deal. Katrina's sort of the tutorial NPC. She's going to tell us a lot of real basic stuff about the world, and we're going to click through all of it because we get XP for talking to her. Not because it's information we actually need. Hey, what should I do if I get hurt? Well, if you can't get to a doctor, you'll need to heal yourself. Stim packs are a common healing item. Use them on yourself to heal minor wounds. First aid is a slower method, but it's always available. And for major wounds, like a broken leg, you'll need to use the doctor skill. Katrina is sort of outside of the game world, and she can see the systems. She knows about the skills, which is weird. Hey, where can I get some better equipment? You'll have to do like we do. Scavenge it, or trade for it. And if you're attacked, your foes might provide equipment if you live long enough to loot them. We're a peaceful community, so we mostly barter or trade for items we cannot produce. Yeah, you look real peaceful. You got this guy standing at the gate with a rifle. Also, this dog. Look how menacing this dog is, just staring at me. Alright, tell me about bartering. This is where she literally gives you the dictionary definition of bartering. You give me some items, I'll give you items in trade. Since you initiated the barter, I'll let you pick and choose what you want, but the deal must be one I think I'll like. So you'll probably want to give me more valuable goods you don't need in exchange for less expensive things that you want. And if you don't have enough items to trade, there's always caps. Bottle caps are the only common money found out here. The caps are backed by the merchants of the hubs. You can trade them anywhere. Hey, that's interesting information. We'll probably learn more about that soon, I bet. Now tell me about this place. You're standing in Shady Sands. We are but a small town in a large world, and we just want to be left alone. Besides some mutated animals and other creatures of the desert, text just scrolls without me sometimes, only the raiders give us trouble. Aradesh is our leader. He's in the large central house. Speak to him. We have been commanded again. Okay, how about the rest of the world? Well, I know very little of the outside world. I escaped from a vault when it was attacked. Unfortunately, I was very hurt and do not remember much of what happened. But Dharma was watching over me, and I was found by the people of Shady Sands. I live here now. Have you spoken with Ian yet? He's a merchant guard who was hurt. He's recovering in the guardhouse over there. He's more widely traveled than I. She's indicating this building over here. We'll go talk to Ian in a second. Okay, how about you tell me about yourself? Well, my life was very boring. I was raised in a vault. I lived there for many years. Unfortunately, we were crowded, and life was very bad. There was a schism, and many people left, taking with them the best equipment. Still, some of us tried to stay in the vault, but then we were attacked. I was hurt, and I ended up here. Now I try to help people. So they were attacked by somebody who had explosives enough to force the vault door off that big mechanism. That's actually pretty impressive. I think we probably don't want to run into whoever that was. Now, where was this vault of yours? What was Vault 15? It's due east of here. We tried to make contact with some other vaults, but we always failed. I think it was the raiders who attacked my fellow dwellers. Be careful. Okay, you can see, for talking to Katrina, we get 250 points. Basically, for going through the tutorial, you get some XP. We don't have to talk to everybody. We'll try to limit it to actually interesting conversations from now on. Speaking of interesting conversations, why don't we stop by Shady Sands here? I mean, I know we have a very important thing to do, but look at all these people just wandering around looking absolutely dejected. Don't we want to know everything about them? So most NPCs don't actually have conversation. They just have like these gossip lines, they're called. That guy doesn't want me to talk to him anymore. Fair enough. Ramen sure do stink this time of year. You know, in this weather, I bet everything kind of stinks a little bit. There's also an awful lot of dogs in Shady Sands. Alright, let's go in here. Oh hey, what a surprise. This is Eridish's house. It's like, somehow, I just knew.
Greetings. Your business in Shady Sands might be...
So certain important characters like this will have actual, like, voice lines and a weirdly animated face. Listen. I'm from a vault... What do you think? We want to just play level with this dude? Probably we shouldn't tell people about the vault, given what we just learned from Katrina, right? I'm just from a small village west of here, just exploring. I mean, you no harm.
I know of no village to the west.
Are you saying you know every location from here to the ocean?
As Dharma said, caution is life in troubled times. Your origin is not the issue. Your intent is.
So you can see, we can piss people off by not playing nice.
I'll let you pass. But know this, Seth and I will watch you very, very closely. Do not even consider bringing trouble here.
Trouble me? Come on. If we talk to him again, he will not remember that he was mad at us, which is weird. Most NPCs will remember if you upset them. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions.
What do you wish to know?
Well, first I'd wish to know what is in your inventory. Do you have anything that I might want? Here's another knife and some bottle caps. You know what? I think we're okay. Let's just go back to talking. What's going on around here?
Oh my, yes. Great packs of rad scorpions are killing our herds. We don't know where they're from, and no matter how many we kill, there's always more.
See, he says it like they're scorpions that are totally rad. Alright, go on.
And now the monsters are attacking my people. Roslo is trying to find a cure for their poison, but I'm not sure how it goes.
Why, that's terrible. I'll help you get rid of these things.
Yes. Please, talk to Roslo. He possesses far more information on these creatures than I.
I pretty much just did that so that you could see Eridish's happy face, because it's real goofy. Listen, at the time, this was the height of graphics technology. Okay, we gotta talk to Dr. Raslo. Easy enough. We can also chat with all these other people around here. I mean, it's an RPG, right? You should talk to everybody. You never know who will have vital items and side quests for you. I'm too busy to talk right now. I've got to get this meal ready. Wow, that smells really good. I bet it tastes great. You can see a little bit of Marty's character shining through here. It's a bit of a suck-up. Why, thank you. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thanks for the compliment. I'm going to tell all my friends about you. So, it sounds like maybe this will make the whole village friendlier to you. And it sort of does. What we've actually just done is gain our first point of karma. Karma is a stat that represents your general reputation. The higher the number, the better known and respected you are. I talked a little bit in the character creation video about people's reaction. There's a number that governs how everybody feels about you that is called reaction, right? Your karma influences people's reaction. So, while charisma can matter to reaction, after a certain point in the game, the amount of reaction you get from your charisma will be totally dwarfed by the amount of reaction you get from your karma, which will just accrue from doing good things. I think this is the only point in the game that will be earned quite so easily, but for example, when we deal with these rad scorpions, because spoiler, we're going to solve the rad scorpion problem for them, we'll get a bunch of karma for that. Every time we, kill an evil person who is threatening people, or you just do side questy type stuff, we'll get karma. Alright. Who else is around here to talk to? Who's this woman? This woman is called a peasant, so probably not a lot of interesting stuff to say. This woman, on the other hand, has a different model than everybody else. That suggests she might be important.
I heard there was a traveler in town, but I was kind of skeptical until I saw you. My name's Tandy. What's yours?
The mouth moving independently of the rest of the face is always a little creepy. So we could get a little fresh with her, but no,
Well,
my name's Marty.
How do you like our little town? Bored yet?
See, we're here and we're friendly. We're being friendly with everybody. Obviously, she thinks the town is crummy, so we're just gonna agree with her. Oh, yeah, there's nothing to do but watch the Brahmin mate.
Finally, someone else who sees. Of course, you've probably been everywhere, so this must be hell for you.
I mean, it seems nice and safe here. No, if you're so bored, why don't you leave?
Me? Leave? I wish. I don't know enough to leave alone. No one else wants to go. And worst of all, my father says he would have a heart attack if something happened to me.
Okay, so now we've kind of gotten on her good side a little bit here. Can I ask you a few questions,
Sure,
maybe?
I guess. I've never been out of here, so I don't know what help I can be. So, what you need?
And what else is going on around these
There's
parts?
a bunch of cities down south, but since you're such a great traveler, I'm sure you know that already.
Yeah, thanks. That was very helpful.
No problem. Anything else?
What's going on around here? I wonder if she has anything to say about scorpions.
Same as always. Boring.
Okay, apparently she's bored by the scorpions. Have you heard any stories from down south?
Just stuff.
Cool,
No
great.
problem. Anything else?
I wonder why nobody wants to go adventuring with her. That's about it for now. I suppose let me see your inventory. Hold on. Before we stop talking, do you have anything I want? Yes, you totally do. 113 caps for a stim pack. Well, I bet we can arrange that. How about... You know what we could do? Let's unload this gun, because we definitely want the bullets. How would you like a gun? Okay, the gun is a little bit too valuable for this trade. How about this iguana? I put a stick through it already. I did all the work. Okay, she's not buying. Spear? Okay, we could get there with the spear. I don't really have a lot of use for this spear. I'm not really a melee weapon kind of character. Even up close, point blank, I still want to be shooting people. So sure, why don't we do this? We'll give her 13 caps and... Okay, anything for more stim packs. Stim packs are life. Okay, thanks for your time.
Well, thanks for talking. We don't get many strangers here, so it's always good to talk to new people. See ya.
Don't get too used to those. They spoil you a little bit in the first town with two of them, but there aren't really that many characters who have talking heads. So, in true RPG fashion, of course, we can run around inside these people's home and steal things from them. Let's see what they have on this bookcase. Why, a knife and a stim pack, and these are rocks. It's a rock. The Granite Incorporated model is an upgraded version. We're not stealing the rocks. Not because I have any compunction about stealing things, but because I don't want the rocks. There's something laying on the floor over here? No, I think I'm just seeing a seam. Some of these wall things are not actually lootable. These vases are not lootable. They are very pretty though. If we get down here, we can look at it. Look how pretty it is. Alright, well, I suppose we could just swing by Dr. Raslow's place and talk to him about the rad scorpions. Hey look, it's Raslow. Almost like I knew where he would be. Can I help you? What do you know about rad scorpions? Not too much. They seem to be an extremely large version of the North American emperor scorpion. Contrary to my medical knowledge, their poison has grown more potent, not diluted as I would expect. Seth has been hunting them, which helps some of my tests. And how such a large creature can even be possible by natural evolution, or even radiation-induced mutation, is beyond me. Hey, listen, I've seen movies from the 50s. Radiation makes stuff bigger. You seem well-educated. What are you doing here? It's kind of condescending to the town, but okay. Doc Morbid in Junktown taught me some. And just because we live in stone huts does not mean we're less intelligent or educated. Have a nice day. I inferred some tone there. Maybe he's not actually mad at us. Okay, I think we've done everything we can do with him. We could, if we were injured, barter for some healing. We don't really need to, obviously. We can also barter for his stim packs, which I think we should absolutely do. Good news, I totally have a thing that's worth about that much. You know, a doctor can never have enough guns. Call that modern medicine. Can you help me? Nah, I'm good, thanks. So, in some places, people will not be okay with you interfering with their stuff. Hey, please do not take my things. So we do have to be wary of that a little bit. It's not going to be that way most of the time. Most of the time, in true RPG fashion, you could just steal everything and people pretend not to notice. But every once in a while, we have to be wary. There are still ways to get the tattered novels from that bookcase, and we'll see them. We'll see them. So if we step in here, this is where we were told Ian, the caravan guard, is recovering. For some reason, there's a bunch of dudes in this house just standing there playing with knives. So that's weird, but one has to assume the short, stocky man with the unique model is probably the important person here. Hello, stranger. You look like you're new here. What's your name? I'm Marty. Just be friendly here. Good to meet you. I'm Ian. What do you do here? I was a guard for the merchants of the hub. However, I was shot during a raid by bandits. I've been staying here since the people have helped me recover. Still, my knowledge of the outside world and my experience make me useful here. Shady Sands is my home now. Occasionally, I even get to visit Junktown or the hub to do some trading. Since I'm the only person here who's ever really left town, I bet the people in this town generally don't visit the tub as often as you would like. Hey, where's the hub and Junktown? That sounds interesting. The hub is a big trading center far south of Shady Sands. It's run by several different caravan groups of merchants. The Water Merchants, the Crimson Caravan, and the Fargo Traders. Junktown is south and a little ways west. It's smaller, but still a good place to drop in for a drink. It's overseen by a fellow by the name of Killian Darkwater, the local shopkeeper, sheriff, and mayor. Seems like kind of a conflict of interest. It's a real good name, though. Thanks, man. Hey. Could you help me out a bit? Sounds like your experience could be useful. Tempting offer, since this place gets boring. Tell you what, standard rates. 100 caps and you got a deal. You know, we could make that happen. But how about a piece of the action instead? No, I don't think so. You come back when you have some caps. So, I'm going to show you in a little outtake thing there. It is actually possible to get him to agree to that offer, but you have to have, first of all, high enough int, and secondly, you have to get your speech up a little bit. 29 is kind of embarrassingly low. For the moment, we can totally afford to just pay him. Actually, I don't think I have 100 caps. We have 100 caps worth of value on us, but I believe he requires 100 raw caps. So you barter with him, take some of the money he has, and then here, we'll just trade him. We'll trade him all these knives, and we'll take the 63 caps he has. This deal's kind of bad value for us, but it doesn't actually matter for a reason I'll show you in a moment here. Want to help me out a little bit? We'll just go ahead and do the 100 caps. Okay, let's go. It'll be good to get back into action. All right, so Ian here is our first party member. Party members in Fallout work kind of strangely. So if we talk to him, we have some of the same information gathering options that we had before. We can also dismiss him. We can tell him to draw his best weapon the next time we go into battle. This is useful if we've given him a new weapon. They're not always good about switching weapons on their own. Sometimes you have to prompt them. We can tell him how close we'd like him to stay to us. Just ask him what weapons he's good with. Just kind of any kind of pistol, submachine gun. Can also handle a knife. But we don't really have a lot of options for directly interacting with his inventory. However, we're still allowed to interact with his inventory. So if we go into the barter screen here, obviously we can just give him stuff. He will just take things like, hey, yeah, that's a good trade. If I'm like, hey, Ian, now that we're friends, can I have my knife back? He'll deny us. But once someone is your party member, you can access their inventory. Hey, Ian, stop moving around. You can access their inventory via the steal skill, and they'll just let you. They have no reaction to you stealing from them, so we could just, like, take all his stuff and take our knife back you know, what if I just want one knife? I'll leave you a knife, but I also want a knife. And my caps, how about my caps? And also this. So it's a little silly the way the barter system works. They really should just be willing to give you everything in the barter screen, and they fixed this for the second game. In the second game, you can just trade freely with party members. Another thing that's really interesting about party member inventories is that party members do not have a maximum carrying capacity. So this is why I said that the fact that strength increases your carrying capacity isn't super important during character creation, because as soon as you have one person hanging out with you, you can just offload all of your garbage onto them, and they can carry an infinite weight for you and never slows them down. For right now, we'll hold on to our stuff because obviously it's inconvenient to barter with people if your inventory is split in half. And obviously we have some more stuff to take care of around Shady Sands with the rad scorpions and whatnot. We'll come back. We'll help these people. But for right now, maybe let's focus on saving the lives of everyone we've ever known. We have a rope. We have a little bit of assistance. You can see we now have a couple more markers on our map. We could just click the buttons here and go to Junktown or the Raider Camp or the Hub, thanks to all of the information we've gained. But we have our rope. Let's go back to Vault 15 and get that water chip. Alright, we can fast forward straight to the cavern's entrance here. You can do that. Once you've been to a map, you can sort of like jump to any major subsection that you've ever been to. Let's just go ahead and use from inventory this rope. You successfully sling a rope down into the elevator shaft, and you just like leave a little bit of it coiled up here, and I'm sure it'll hold our weight somehow. Oh hey, flares. We should probably take these flares. Hey, hey Ian, are you coming? Is he okay? He's just, you know, he's admiring the wall locker. That's fine. Okay, we've made it down another floor, and remarkably, the rats down here are somehow even larger. Well, we probably ought to scour the place. You know, once again, it doesn't look like any of the people who used to live here are going to have any need of anything that's left. Now, there is... Oh, right, I should back away. I was going to tell you right now, we want to not be between Ian and stuff. Ian is a pretty good shot. He does not have a lot of respect for his employer, though, and he will absolutely just... He gets the bloodlust, is what it is. And he will shoot at whatever enemy he feels like shooting at, regardless of your position. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a problem. So we're just going to play really carefully around Ian. So like I said, sometimes enemies hide behind the walls a little bit. Unfortunately, that can also be the case with loot. I'm going to step to the side here. So in order to know whether there's actually anything in any of these little rooms, we have to go in and check, right? You know what? It's actually pretty hard to hit the vital points on this guy. Okay, turns out Ian has 10 action points. Pretty handy. So right, like there could be loot anywhere on the floor over here. There also, we know, is a rat. We should probably try to get the jump on him. Actually, let's inch closer. Oh, he turned around. Well, whatever. Ouch! You were critically hit for 8 hit points. The bruise will look nice, and maybe the scars will make good party talk. Yeah, I'm really gonna brag at a party about how a rat took a piece out of me. Hey, you. Nope, that didn't work. Also, hey, you was the best combat taunt I could think of in the moment. That's not impressive. Ian, pretend you didn't hear that. So, as you can see, there are like little rooms secreted away here, and there could be loot in any of them, right? Fortunately, I know from experience, there's not actually a ton of valuable stuff in Vault 15. We can skip a bunch of the searching. But if you were really playing the game for the first time, unfortunately, you sometimes get into a little bit of tedium in places like this, with having to actually like run over to every corner. What we do see here is a locker just standing in this room. Obviously, there's got to be good stuff in the locker. Sure, just shoot for the legs. Nope, it turns out I'm a terrible shot. Ian, save me! Uh-oh, these rats can hear. Boy, Ian sure does love to lag behind. We might have to tell him to adjust his follow distance. I'm just going to run back here and let Ian handle this. Interesting. I wonder if he intends to kill that rat with a knife, or like what his move is here. Let's just do a normal shot. We're a little bit too far away and in the dark to benefit from aiming. And we probably don't need to run again. I'm going to reload and then just hang out. I don't want to have to... I want this rat to get close enough to us for me to get a good shot on it. Backing up would not have been helpful there. I am having a hell of a time with these 70% shots. Okay. Turns out you throw enough bullets at anything, you can solve it. Okay. Let's have a look at this locker. What have we here? Why, it's the same leather jacket that Ian's already wearing, and a rope to replace the rope that we permanently spent and cannot get back. For some reason, you are not allowed to unsling the rope after you climb up. So hey, we got our very first piece of armor. This is a little embarrassing because Ian is definitely going to think I'm biting his style, but it does give us a little bit more armor class and a percentage reduction to a bunch of different types of damage. So the way the damage reduction is reported here is a little weird. The number in front of the slash is a flat reduction in damage points, and then the number after the slash is a percentage. So like if our normal said 5/20, we would take 5 points straight off the top of any normal damage we took, and then reduce the remaining amount by 20%. Damage reduction is important, but there aren't really that many different kinds of armor in the game, so we're never going to have to get like too into the system. It's never going to be the case like we have to fret about whether a piece of armor is better than another because they have different damage reduction. It's going to be pretty obvious to us when armor is an upgrade. Well, let's just try to use the element of surprise here. That's okay. Not a great use of the element of surprise. If I step to the side here, yep, okay. Not exactly ideal, because this thing's going to get right next to us, and then Ian's going to shoot it when it's an inch away from me. No, you know what? It's fine. I had total faith in him. There's some ammo just sitting on the ground here. 223 FMJ. That is not ammo that is used by any kind of gun that we currently possess. But why would you not pick up bullets? I mean, bullets have to be valuable, right? At the very least. Alright, and we are not really close to our carry weight limit. You can see here we have 39 weight on us right now of the 150 we're allowed to carry. 5 strength is a lot, even putting aside the infinite carry limit of your companions. And we have here another busted elevator shaft. It's nice that the denizens of the vault were so stocked up on rope. Yeah, I know it's not easily descended without a rope. Did I not? Oh, there's a little issue that happens sometimes, where if you click on an item in that use from backpack view, but the place you clicked is right on top of another object, sometimes the game will register that as you having clicked on that object rather than clicked on the thing in your inventory, which I think is what happened there. So we can see this floor of the vault's not really looking any better than the rest of it. Unfortunate. Well, we'd better find the water computer. Let's at least verify for certain that we're not going to be able to get a water chip here. Hey, buddy, could you maybe stay closer? I'm just a little worried. I'm going to get in a fight with a rat, and he's going to be, like, on a previous floor. Too far away to save me from my own inaccuracy. Alright, get him, Ian. I sort of ran... like, I'm still kind of in his way. This is maybe not the best way to do this. Also, we just made a tremendous amount of noise around all of these rats. So, maybe something that could have been better thought out. I'm gonna move up here and try to kill the small rat and leave the big one for Ian. Okay, hey, we got it done. Alright, good work, everybody. Lots of crits. And we've earned our first level up. Let's step aside into this side room here. So, seems like an awful lot of rocks around here. A large pile of rocks. That's very helpful. A smaller pile of... Cool. I was hoping we could maybe get a little bit more information about what happened. Well, let's go ahead and spend our level up. So you can see here we have earned 18 skill points for leveling up. The small gun skill is very important to us. However, so is speech. So let's go ahead and just bump speech up. I think we have plenty of time to get both of these things up. You can see every level is going to require successively more and more XP. It's pretty standard RPG stuff. Let's get speech up to 60, and then we'll throw in some small guns here. And then we'll steal everything that's not nailed down. Well, would you look at that? A 10mm SMG. Ian said he likes SMGs, but we're not going to give this to him. This is my SMG. He can find his own. Let's just unload all of the ammo from that, because we're going to need it for this thing. A medium-sized SMG capable of single shot and burst mode. It carries 30 rounds, very rarely needs to be reloaded, and burst mode is not a joke. You can really mess up someone's day. We've also got some frag grenades and a little bit of dynamite. I'm going to be honest with you, grenades are pretty hard to use as a weapon because they're based on the throwing skill. There are not a lot of good throwing skill weapons. You can see in most ways this thing is just every bit as effective as a pistol. Do I not have a shot? I think it's because of the doorway. Yeah, my aim is blocked. Okay, we'll step out into the room a little, or into the hall a little bit. Give him one of those, and then back up so that Ian doesn't accidentally shoot me. Oh, that's unfortunate. He had to reload that turn. Do I want to... Here's the thing. If we shoot Ian in the back, he's not going to, like, freak out and try to kill us or anything, but it will be wasted ammo and wasted health, so we should probably clear our shot a little bit first. If I step over here and shoot this thing and don't kill it, I'm going to feel like a real idiot. Yeah, it already took 7 damage. Let's just give it a single shot. Yeah, we didn't need a crit there to finish the job. Okay, well, this looks bad. Let's see what's up over here. These pig rats are way, way, way better at seeing you in the dark than the small rats are. All right, we know we're going to go next, so we may as well run up close here. So you may notice when I end my turn with action points left over, any action points we had left are added to our armor class until the next round. It's sort of like saving actions to dodge. You know what? We hit him already. I'm just going to give him a normal. Let's just take the 95%. We will sometimes want to make use of that armor class gain, but a lot of the time it's better to try to just, like, run and get some cover between you and the enemy or something. Oh, you are able to determine that the command... Sorry. You're able to determine that the command and the control center is definitely buried under even more rock. You'll have to look for the water chip elsewhere. That knowledge is worth 500 XP. So, you know, you might imagine, given that we just found this huge landslide here, and we found it right next to a bunch of dynamite in a locker, that you could blow open the landslide and continue further on. I certainly assumed that that was what they were trying to express to us. I'll just save us all some time and myself some dynamite. Sorry, Ian, that's my bad, man. I just screwed up. That's on me. I was gonna get out of the way so he doesn't return the favor here. Yeah, gotta watch the line of fire. The rodent's skull makes several unhealthy sounds. You know, almost any sound that your skull itself makes is gonna be unhealthy. Also, there's a crowbar laying on the floor here. Crowbars are basically what you would think they are. You know, it's a video game, so of course you can hit people with it. You can actually, quote-unquote, pry open doors sometimes, in the sense that some doors can be destroyed with violence, And the crowbar is, you know, as good as any other blunt weapon at doing that. Let's just have a quick look around. Is there anything else that we want to visit? Ah, there is a wall safe over there. Well, we probably ought to go check that out, right? You can see our aim's getting a little bit better. Not like a huge amount or anything. That's alright. Ian's got my back. I have limited competence, but nothing can stop Ian. And sometimes even my competence is enough. It is really nice to never have to worry about reloading. Alright, let's get up here to this wall locker. Oh hey, look, it's all of the rats. Sure, I could have looked before leaping. I could have just clicked on our gun to enter combat mode to see all the enemy outlines through the walls. This is the library. You've seen all this equipment before in your vault's library. There looks to be little of value left in this room. I don't know. That doesn't look open to me. Whatever people used to keep in there is presumably still in there, and maybe it's really cool. Maybe it's a bunch of books. Reading is fundamental. Unfortunately, we have, you know, half a dozen more rats to very slowly fight through. Right, you can see we're starting to get those critical hits a little bit more frequently. So what have we here? It's bullets. It's Magnum Full Metal Jacket. You never have enough bullets. Again, we don't even have guns for some of this stuff. Fortunately, Ian was kind of blocking us in there for a minute. But at the very least, we'll be able to sell it. And the mole rat that was in this room has cleverly walked out into the open in an attempt to prevent us from leaving. Well, he's in for an unpleasant surprise. Let's try out the burst mode on this thing. So we can move forward 3 spaces and still burst him. Shot's not great. You know what? We know we're going to get to go before he does. I'm gonna really move up on him. We don't need to be right next to him exactly, but I don't want to be right next to him because Ian's about to take a turn, and I don't want Ian to shoot me in the back. Oh, pig rat's awake. That's unfortunate. Hey Ian, maybe you want to deal with this pig rat? You just want to walk awkwardly diagonally up the hallway? It's part of the problem with a hex grid, is that either vertical or horizontal, one of them is not going to look the way you want it to look. Alright, let's just run right up on him and give him what for. So in burst mode, you will dump approximately 1/3 of your weapon's maximum ammo into an enemy. With a 95% hit chance, you might imagine the effects of this can be pretty dramatic. Yeah, for example. There are definitely some kill animations that don't play when you use, let's say, less violent methods of killing someone with a gun. And it turns out they're all pretty violent, but they're not all equally violent. I'm actually starting to get a little bit low on health here. Somehow, this rat right here has not noticed our presence yet. You know what? I'm just going to give him a normal shot, and if it doesn't do the job, I'm sure Ian will... Okay, we managed to just crit him. Alright, well, there's not a lot left of this thing. That's actually pretty gross. We do spy some ammo in here. Oh, apparently we didn't quite clean the place up. Well, it's been a little bit of an adventure here. You know this to be the meeting room for the vault, where the emergency supply cabinet would be is buried under tons of rock. Yeah, whatever happened here, I'm assuming the explosives that were used to open the vault door triggered a bunch of these cave-ins. I mean, they probably had to be pretty heavy-duty. I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you. We're basically done here. We've gotten everything we're going to get out of Vault 15. A disappointing ending. So now that the only place that we knew for sure there could be a water chip is known for sure not to have a water chip, we need to come up with some other kind of plan. And unfortunately, we know absolutely nothing of the outside world, so we don't even know where to begin looking. The good news is, thanks to Ian, we have a sense of at least some places where we could start asking around. Man, where all these rats come? Did we not kill? How did we even get down into the vault without killing all these? Okay, well, I suppose I ought to reload occasionally. So yeah, we're going to keep burst mode to a minimum, because obviously it's expensive in terms of resources. But man, oh man, does it solve problems. You'll probably get to see at some point during the adventure here why I'm leery of giving Ian a machine gun. You probably put 2 and 2 together and make a pretty good guess at it, even if you don't know for sure. But I'm sure we'll get to see it, because we're going to have to upgrade his armament eventually. For now, though, I think maybe this is where we should end Marty's journey for the day. Let's see how things fared for the other characters. The first thing we learn from Ricky is that your tag skills actually affect your starting inventory. You can see that she started with fewer bullets because she didn't tag small guns, but she does get some brass knuckles because she tagged unarmed. The brass knuckles are actually one of only 3 weapons in the whole game that use the unarmed skill, so she's going to be swinging them for a while. You can also see the effect of her Jinxed trait almost immediately. Now, Jinxed doesn't actually increase anybody's chance to miss in combat. It just makes every miss much more likely to be a critical miss, with the kinds of effects you can see here. With a high unarmed skill, and of course the fact that using unarmed means all of our attacks happen at point-blank range, Ricky should rarely miss attacks, so I'm hoping that the Jinx will hurt our enemies a lot more than it hurts Ricky. We'll see if that actually works out. On her way back to Shady Sands from Vault 15, because I forgot to pick up the rope on the way out there, Ricky stumbles across an unusual random encounter. On the ground in the middle of the desert, for some reason, she discovers one of the most powerful items in the game. A burlap bag. And also a few green things that the game generously describes as fruit. I'm actually pretty excited about this, but you're gonna have to wait an episode or 2 to see why. Upon her return to Vault 15, we meet our first Rad Scorpion. I actually have no idea why this thing is guarding the shack, and only for her and neither of the other characters, but Ian makes short work of it, much as he does with everything. Including the player, if you're not careful. Here we see the first of what I'm sure will be many ostensibly accidental shots in the back, very nearly killing us, actually. Ricky's gonna have to keep a closer eye on him in the future. And that's it for Ricky, actually. Today her adventure was pretty similar to Marty's, mostly because there just are not very many ways to deal with a horde of angry rats. Asher's journey starts pretty similarly as well, although maybe a bit more messily. Asher tags small guns, so he gets the extra pistol ammo, and he combines that with his fast shot trait to get through the caves pretty quickly, and then nothing of interest happens on the way to Shady Sands. When he arrives, however, we start to see the effects of that low intelligence. Like I mentioned before, the game's portrayal here is not very sensitive, and you just can't communicate at all with most people. You can usually still barter, but this is going to prevent us from picking up quests, getting information like the location of the other cities, and just accessing certain items and areas in the future. It's also going to make some people be real dicks to us. Who does this guy think he is? Well, Asher never forgets, and as everyone in this room is going to learn, he sure does love revenge. And then, in an incredible stroke of providence, on the way out to Vault 15, Asher stumbles across this. Some lost property. Well, Wasteland rules apply, and it is no longer lost. The alien blaster we're picking up here is actually an extremely powerful energy weapon that also fires for 1 AP less than most weapons, which combines very nicely with the fast shot trait. And finding it so early is really us making the absolute most out of our extremely high luck stat. There are a few of these rare special encounters. They're marked on the map by a little cross like we found treasure rather than a lightning bolt. And you're much more likely to find them with 9 or 10 luck. And the blaster does have some trade-offs. It has extremely short range, and its ammunition type is not really available to us yet, so we're going to have to be careful with it. But it's going to make Asher even more of a nightmare than he already was. For example, it can do this. And this. And already Asher's thinking about going back to that mouthy asshole in Shady Sands and showing him what the new toy can do. And that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to try to put out a few episodes, much like this one, each week, so come back in a couple of days to see where our increasingly desperate search for the water chip takes us. And we'll see you then.